Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be digging around the junkyard again. We're going to see what we can go find. Any nifty cars, any cool old trucks, anything that catches my fancy. Let's go have a look. Sort of special one here. I would call it a unicorn. Maybe not entirely rare, but pretty neat from Toyota fanboys. This would be a 1 year only availability. It's an 85, and being so, it comes with a solid front axle. It comes with a 5-speed and manual transfer case. But if this thing has an inclinometer in it left yet, no. Those are pretty rare. They tend to go pretty fast if they're in here. And what's really going to make this a unicorn is the engine in it. Fairly certain this is before they were putting the 3 liters in these cars, but oh, I need to be able to open it. I gots to know. Oop. Not quite the unicorn I expected. I thought that it would be electronic at this point. 22R, still awesome motor. This one would be carbureted, not fuel injected. I would still be happy to have and to hold as long as I both shall live. However, this one seems to have lived as much as it possibly can. She's rotten, baby, rotten. Nothing left of it in a lot of places. I bet that motor would still fire up, though, being a Toyota. Geez, they last forever. Nothing left of her. And what's really cool about these, though, is you can take the top off. Of course, everybody wants to do that. Have a cool summer driver. There's no roll bar on these things, though. Wait, never mind. I take that back. There is a roll bar in these things. I don't know if that's factory or not, though. Yeah, it might be. I guess I don't know offhand, but still, really cool little trucks. These windows in the back, Toyota is known for that for a long time, having the roll up and down rear window. They still did that for quite a while. I don't think they're still doing it today, but I still dig it. And these are probably about the best looking ones I ever made. Just a perfect little rig. Inside, you don't get a whole lot of comfort or anything. Really basic little Japanese seats, but beautiful little 5-speed, a couple of buckets. And what more do you need than that? Crank windows. Still work. Gorgeous. Not savable, but probably some good parts in it left. So I walked up to this car and I was looking it over. I'm thinking, what is this? This is a strange looking bug. I mean, my memory was like, well, motor's in the back, but then I looked up there. I said, it's not air cooled. It's coolant cooled. I'm like, did someone swap a motor into this thing? I do not understand what's going on at all. And they came around the front, and then that's when I knew for sure this is not a bug, though it sure looks like it. And you see where they were certainly borrowing some stuff from. This is a Renault 4CV. Sort of an interesting car. It's French. What the heck's it doing here? I have no idea. Very, very neat to see around here. You can see I think this is a 50s car probably. You can see right there, 65 Michigan plate on it. It is preposterous to me to think of some youper coming up here to drive this thing and having it here. Look at the way the doors open from the front suicide doors. Pretty cool. And the interior on it's tiny. You would have to be a pretty small little guy to fit in this thing. Maybe a little Frenchman, you know? We get the bread, the cigarette, and we go drive our Renault. No? And just super, super basic, bare bones. Definitely borrowing from the styling of the bug, I would say, and some of the architecture as well. Rare, odd bird to find in the junkyard here. I am shocked to see this. I thought it was a beetle when I walked up, and it is not. It'd be pretty cool to just put a new floor in this thing and bomb around in it. Boy, put a little Subaru engine in the back or something like that. You know what people do with Beetles, and away you go. You'd be the slickest Frenchman around. I dig it. It's probably the only one you'll find in a junkyard in the UP. Here's sort of an oddball for you guys. It's a Nash Statesman. And what caught my eye about this car is just the overall look of it. It is just one solid state the whole way through. There's barely any wheel arches in this thing. A little baby one right there for the front, and then a little baby one in the rear for that rear tire. And then look at the back. It's just like a fuselage, this whole thing. It's just one great beam going down the road. Nash obviously got swallowed up by all sorts of automakers and whatnot, and parts and pieces went to here, there, everywhere. That won't open up, but you know, they were an independent for quite a few years, but made some very interesting looking cars. This thing looks like it's 3 on the tree, probably, guessing on those pedals there, and that looks like a shifter of that fashion. I don't think that we've been putting an automatic in this thing at this point. And then the air flight, whatever that is. But this looks like it would be a pretty darn aerodynamic vehicle for its era. I'm trying to get in here without gashing myself up. I want to flip that thing down and see what's under that little bed box there. Yeah. Oh, the secret will remain, I guess, because I want to cut on this glass. But it just looks like an old-fashioned glove compartment, essentially. But just look at the artistry on that thing. It's all aluminum and very nicely made. It's just stuff you don't see well made on vehicles these days. I'm going to do some looking and see exactly what year this thing is when I get home. I have poor service here, so I really can't look at a lot of these factoids I want to see when I'm out here. And inside, we just have your basic flathead straight six. And these powered the world really for a long time. Tons of automakers had the straight six in their own pattern, fashion, and form. I don't know if Nash made that one or not. Again, I'll probably be looking that up and giving a little bit more information on it as kind of this video rolls by, but really cool to see a Nash out here. All right, guys, we got another International here. However, this one is my personal favorite of the bunch. It is the Travelall. This was a Suburban before it knew what it needed to be. It's got 4 doors, fold up and down seats. Look, you can put a stove in the back, for crying out loud. Beautiful. Well, this one's even got a nice looking door tag here. You're gonna be able to see what year this thing actually is. Let's see. Oh man, I can't read that date there. Darn. In any event, I'll figure out exactly what year it is later and post that while I'm going. I was actually able to find some registration in the trunk, and the insurance people call it a 64 Jeep Travelall wagon. I suppose that's sort of true, but it's no Jeep, is it? It's a whole lot more. You got a hand holder there for your loved ones. Got a nice, oh, still swings through the gears. Beautiful. That would have been a 4-speed in these. Basic gauges, nothing crazy. Someone stole the steering wheel. Those rat turds, them. That's nice. Let's go around the front, see if we can't get in, see what kind of engine this thing's got. I'm betting a V8 of some kind. Now that we're around the front, we can check out the front, grill of these things. They're just such good looking trucks. I mean, they just have an interesting shape to them. I just have always really liked the way that Scouts look. I'm going to need 2 hands to get into this one too, I think. We can't get a little action shot of me trying to open this thing. That is such a bummer we can't get in there. Just a little bit through there. It is a V8. I think they had a 304 is what they were using at this time. Totally serviceable motor. Nothing special about it. Propelled these things down the road, but boy, I just think these are such good looking cars. The curved front windows, but not overdoing it like the Chevy sort of did for a little while. And nice, come around the back. Too bad this glass is all cracked up, but swooping back here like this, really pretty nice. And then this little homemade deal here, but it worked, didn't it? Yeah. I see a a plate of 97 on there though. I bet someone was still driving it right up until then. Pretty cool. Those that know anything about me know I love big cars. And this was sort of the last of the bunch. It's basically a Crown Vic underneath, but what this is a Mercury Grand Marquis. I think they're really good looking cars. A lot of people would disagree with me, but these are my favorite of the bunch of that era. Between the Mercury and the Crown Vic, I prefer these. Headlights just look good. It's nice and wrapped around. It's a real shame this one's sitting with the windows open because it's actually got a really nice plush interior. Because the Grand Marquis would have been, you know, above Ford but below Lincoln. So, you know, sort of the businessman's car. Not blue collar, but maybe kind of in between. Oh yeah, and these doors just open swell, and that's a nice shut to them. These would have probably been fuel injected by this point. I'm going to crawl around, see if I can't read the door tag, and maybe pop the hood. And check it out. Window lock, up, down, electric power, everything. Lock and unlock. It's a beautiful thing. This is a 12 of 88, so this is a 99, or an 89, so pretty well the end of the line for these things. And I'm quite sure that this would have had a fuel-injected 302. Got all that nice fake wood, everything, all the way across. Just the sort of little details you don't get in today's cars, where it's all just plastic nonsense. We had fake wooden plastic nonsense when I was a kid, and it meant something. Just as I suspected, that's a 5.0 EFI. These would have been the same basic cars you would have found in a Mustang at the time, and Ford trucks of this era as well. A little bit different intake though. This is the car style intake. I think they have a little bit more snot. I'm not sure. Maybe a little more HP, a little less torque, something along those lines. Someone will probably correct me and tell me I'm dumb in the comments, but easy to work on, easy to service, real basic car. Someone stole a radiator out of this one, must have needed it for something, but this one's totally salvageable yet. One of those ones that's like, you ought to buy that thing, but awful lot of work, time, money, all that sort of deal. And do I need another big weird car? Probably not, but nice one to be sure. I got time for one more car today, and then I'm going to call her a day. And I want to show you this here Grand Wagoneer. It's all buried in the bushes over here, and it looks like it got a pretty good hit in the back. I would imagine that's what put it here to begin with, but that's halfway minor compared to the rest. I mean, check out that action on this thing. Still works, still got a spare fold up middle seat. This thing is ready for action. I'll bet you could get a new little panel on that side and nearly drive this thing out of here. This thing's pretty darn straight. Great color pattern on it too. I love the orange and the white. That looks fantastic. And we have the Quadra Track 4-wheel drive. Ooh, would have been a delightful little setup to have. It does look like this thing was a little bit abused, I'm sure, in the junkyard. This looks fairly fresh. You can tell by the way that's scuffed up. Not just the moss is scuffed up, not just the paint. Let's see if I can pop this hood. Give us a little more detail on this thing. I cannot get that hood open, as much as that bothers me. I'll never know what's in there for a motor. But these are great trucks. You can see why Jeep brought them back. I mean, they look nothing like this anymore, unfortunately, and they cost $100,000. So definitely not where they came from with their roots. They're selling the brand, and I get that, but man, this is a good looking vehicle. And that's going to do it for me here today. Checked out a few cars. Hopefully I've given you some information on them. If you want to see any of the ones that I've showed more of, or anything you saw in the background, you're like, hey, go check that out. You can let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.